Students, today we are going to discuss a topic. The name of the topic is file management or file handling using Python programming. So before entering into the implementation part, that how we can handle the file using Python programming, let me discuss few fundamentals regarding the file programming. The first question naturally comes in our mind, what file is? Okay. So answer is file is an object that stores record in specific format. What is the content of a file? Definitely using file we can store different kind of data. We all know it. And this file system is very much related to the operating system, because when we install an operating system in our machine, a file system, at the same time a file system also gets created. And the file system which is created during the installation of operating system, it is not same for all operating system. It is different. For Windows, the file system we follow, it is not same as the file system which is used in the Linux. Okay. So file system is very much related to the operating system. That means how the file structure will be installed. A structure means the file system that created during the installation of operating system. So file is nothing but a data. It may contain text. It may contain some audio, may contain video also. So using file, what we can say, using file, we can store different type of data or records in specific format. And we all aware about that each and every file system, when we store a file, it must have an extension through which we can understand what type of file it is. Okay, if it's a notepad file, so we stored that file using .txt extension. If it is an audio file, so it can be, the extension of this file is MP3 format. So file extension is basically tells us what type of file it is. That means what kind of data we have stored inside this file. Next question, why we use file system? Why file programming is required in Python? Not only in Python, earlier in C programming language also, we also handle the file using C programming. So now the answer is same for irrespective of all programming language. That is why we use file handling through this programming language. The first point is, I already shared my programming screen with you. So I'm writing the points over here by putting hash. If you want, you can note it down. That first reason is number of input. What it means? It means that whatever the program we have written so far, the program is asking for input in the console, and while we are executing the program, we are giving the input, maybe a number, maybe a string, maybe a list, tuple, dictionary through console. And here the number of inputs are very limited. That means 2, 3, 5, 10. That means we can count. But when the number of elements are very large to give input, number of inputs are very large to give, then we must take help of a file. How file can resolve this problem? Whatever the data we want to provide as an input, we must provide the data through a file. That means all the data are in a file. We have to import, or rather we have to read that file and take the input in our program. Similarly, the second point is number of output is very large. Number of output is very large. Then also we use this file system. When the number of output is very large, what it means? That means when output is coming into the output screen, it is volatile in nature. What it means? It's volatile in nature. That means the output are not stored in secondary memory. As in when we close the console or we close the program, the output is not saved. So if we use the file to store those output, so definitely file handling is required over there. Third point is, at the same time, not only want to store the permanently in the file, if the output is very large, point number 2 actually says it, when the output is very large. That means the volume of the output is very large. And we want to store the output in a form of a file, or rather permanently store the output. Definitely, we can use this file handling, or rather file programming in the problem that we are going to solve. So this is the reason. So number 2 point is number of output is very large, or rather the volume of the output is very large. And point number 3, it should be the permanent storage of the output that I just mentioned. Permanent storage. Now, I move to the operations of the file, which we normally use in Python program, or rather in other programming language also. What are those operations? The basic operations are creation of a file. Number 2, opening a file which already exists. Number 3, writing a file. Number 4, reading from a file. Number 5, that random access of a file. And number 6 is closing of a file. So first of all, I am repeating once again what are the operations we must have to go through for the file handling. That is number 1, creation of a file, opening of a file which already exists, writing of a file, or writing to a file. We want to write some content to a file, that is writing to a file. Reading, reading from a file. And if I want to access contents randomly from a positions of the file. That is another operations. And finally, we have to close the file. So these are the basic operations we must have to go through. And the operations which I want to do on the file, it is very much important for us, because the first point is when we write a file programming in Python, we have to use a function. The name of the function is open. Okay. So this open function takes two parameters. What this two parameter takes? Number one, the file name. Okay. And the second parameter is the mode, which is very, very important. And this mode is basically telling us what operations we want to do. We want to do by opening this file. Okay. So these are the operations, rather these are the this is very important, that in which mode we will open this file, because first we have to know what to do, what we actually want to do by after opening this file, depending on which we will set this mode. Now I am coming what mode we have. I'm writing in this programming scheme, we have W. These are the modes. Okay. We have R plus, we have W plus, okay. We have A mode. These are the modes. A mode. We have X mode. We have, just a minute, W plus, A mode, X mode, and another form of this is RB, WB, okay, RB plus, okay, XB plus, just like this. What B stands for? B stands for, these are the binary files. If I want to read the files in the binary mode, because some files, that means when we are try to read a image file, that means that file we have to scan as a form of a binary mode. In the normal text file, we can understand what it is written over there. But when we are reading, when we are trying to read a image file, we must have to scan the file. We must have to scan the file, or rather open the file in the binary mode. So I am explaining one by one. All the modes are what actually this R stands for. R stands for, it's a read mode. Okay. I am opening the file in read mode. W stands for, I am opening the file only write mode. That means when I am opening a file in the read mode, I can read the file, I cannot write. And when I open the file in the W mode, at that time we can write the content, write some content in the file, but we cannot read. So that's why I'm telling it's a write only mode. Okay. When I'm opening the file in the R plus or W plus mode, it is basically used for read and write both. R plus or W plus, it stands for read as well as write. Okay. Append mode, let's say, what append mode actually telling us? Append mode is telling that the file gets opened in the append mode, that means some existing contents are already there. We are appending more text, more lines into that existing file. So this is actually the appending mode. Okay. What the X mode says? X mode says that if the file not exist, then the file will be created. Okay. If the file is not exist, then the file will be created. In this point, I explained the difference between R and W. When I open a file in R mode, that means if the file is not there, the R mode will give you error. That means if the file is not exist, you will get an error. The file that you are trying to open. Okay. And if you open the file in W mode, if the file is not there, it will be created. You will not get an error. It will be created. And you can write some content over there. That is the difference between R and W. Now, definitely, I think you get your answer that what is the difference between R plus and W plus, because I just mentioned that both R plus and W plus used for the read and write. As both R plus and W plus is used for the read and write. So, what is the difference between these two when we use R plus and when we use W plus? The difference is if the file is already exist, we can use R plus. If the file is not exist, we can use W plus. Because if the file is W plus, if the file is not there, W will create that file. And another point I must have to mention that already a file is there. Some content is also there inside the file. And you have opened the file in W or rather W plus. Whatever the content you have earlier, it will be replaced by creating a new file with the same name. So that is the difference between R and W. R, already you have a file which is with the same name, you can open the file. And if the file is not there, then you have to open the file in the W mode so that the file will be created. So I hope you understood what is the difference between R and W. Similarly with R plus and W plus. A plus means already the file is there, some content is also there. You can write into the file after the existing content. That is actually the appending mode size. And when the B is appended with the mode, that means you are writing the file in the binary mode. Okay, not in the text mode. Okay. So these are the modes which are very important. So now I am trying to implement a very small program, which is our first program of this file implementations in Python. So I already created a file. Let me share my screen. Just let me share my file explorer screen. Yes. So I hope you can see the my folder. My folder is in where? It is in D drive, right? D drive, under D drive, my file program folder or file underscore proc, where I already created a file. The name of the file is ABC. Okay. What I have written over there, I have written, is this my screen visible? Okay, let me share this screen explicitly. Yes, I think now it is visible. What I have shared, I shared MCKV Institute. What I have written, I written MCKV Institute of Engineering, 243 GT Road, Railway, Howrah. Okay. So this is the content of the file, and I saved this file on the name ABC, and it is in the home directory. Home directory means where I saved my program, my file, the file that I'm trying to access, the file also is under the same directory. So here, where I saved my program under D drive, file underscore proc. The name of my file is file4.py. Okay. And the content of the file I have just shown to you. Okay. So now I am opening my file. As my file is already exists. So I open my file in read mode. So it is in current directory. So as it is in current directory, so save it abc, okay, .txt. That is my file name, and I want to open the file in the read mode. So if I run this code, the code is executed successfully. And if you look at the type of FP, what FP is? FP is an object. Object of which class? Object of text.io wrapper class. Once again, I'm repeating. Text.io wrapper class. Where it is? It is under the module IO underscore IO. Okay. And it is the object of text.io wrapper class. It is an object of text.io wrapper class. And the object which is required for opening a file, reading a file, and writing a file, all are belonging to this class. That is very important to know. Okay. All are belonging. The object which is required for reading, writing, and opening the file, all are belongs to text.io wrapper class. So now I have opened the file, and as and when file gets opened, definitely you have used a file pointer, which is an object of your text.io wrapper class, that is FP. Okay. So after that, I want to read the content of file. So if I want to read the content of file, I have to write fp dot read. I'm calling the function read. When I call the functions read, and finally whatever I read, I print that content that gets stored inside S. And look, whatever the thing it is written inside the file abc.txt, I read the content by calling read functions on the object fp. And what it returns? It returns entire content. It returns entire content as a form of a string. Entire content as a form of a string, which is stored inside S. And when I print S, I got my result. That is MCKV Institute of Engineering, 243 GT Road, Lilua, Howrah. I hope this much you understood. So Another operation I must use for reading purpose. The name of the function is read line. We have another function. One is read, another one is read line. When I am using the functions read line, let me check the output. Look, the output is coming, but only the first line, not the remaining two lines. So, what the conclusion? Read line is a function which is basically used to read a file one single line. From the file, it can read one single line, and that line return as a form of a string. So that's why whatever the content returns by the read line method, it is stored inside S, and look at the data type of S, it is str. Now I am changing my function name from read line to read lines. So when I'm using read lines, what this function returns? Entire content again, but as a form of a list. One single line is a content of one element of the list. Once again, I'm telling, first, I use read function only. Second, I use read line function. Third, I am using read lines function. Read function reads the entire content of the file, returns the content as a form of a string, and it has been stored inside S. I have shown you already. Next, read line function, it returns only one single line. So if I use another read line over here, I can get the second line. Say, I am storing the content inside S1, and if I run it, so look at the content of S1. Second line is coming, 243 GT road inside S1. Okay? So read line is basically reading a line and returns the entire content as a form of a string. Now I'm going to use the third function, which is read lines, which I already mentioned, that it returns every line, each and every line of the file as a form of a list where, where uh, each and every element of the list is nothing but a line of the file. So look at the output. Let me execute the program. Yes. So this is my list. Type of the S, it is not string, it is a list where each index containing string. What it stores? Each and every line. One single line is one single element of the list. So each and every element is nothing but the string. So in this way, I can read this file. Okay. So can open the file in the R mode, and the name of my file I have to provide, which will return FP, and fp.read or fp.readline or fp.readlines. We have three functions to read the content of the file. Definitely, the functions outputs are not same. We will use those functions depending upon our requirement or depending upon the problem statement. Okay, so that is the way through which we can read a file. And another point, what I just told, that if my file is not present, say, let me change the path of my file, which is not over there. Say I'm giving a file by writing this, what it means? It means that my file is not in the home directory. My file is where? Under the D drive. Under the D drive. As my earlier version of the program, my file was D drive. Under the D drive, I have a file underscore proc directory, and under this directory, I saved my abc.txt. But now I changed my path of the source file, that is D colon, I'm telling that my file is in the abc.txt where it is not there. Where it is not there. I am writing this intentionally to show you that if the file is not there and I'm trying to read this file, I will definitely get an error. Okay, so let me comment these lines and show you the error will come. Look, no such file or directory. But if I open the file in the write mode, what will happen? If the file is not there, the file gets created. Go to the path D drive. Let me share. Hope my screen is visible to you. So D drive, look, abc.txt created, though no content is there, still it gets created as you open the file in the write mode. So this is the difference between read mode and write mode. If the file is already there, already exists, you can open the file in read mode and it will fulfill only the reading purpose. If the file is not there and you try to open the file in the read mode, you will get an error. If you want to write something in your file, existing file, that means you have to open the file in the write mode, just like I shown you that I want to open a file that is abc.txt where I want to write something. So I have to open the file in the write mode and the file gets created and I can write over there. If the file is already there, that means abc.txt, and you have some content under abc.txt, still you open the file in the write mode, what will happen? The consequence is a new abc.txt will create and your existing abc.txt will be overwritten by your new file. So existing file get lost and whatever the content you stored over there, that also get lost. So be cautious. If you want to add some content in that file, you have to open the file not in the write mode. Instead of write, you have to open the file in which mode? A mode, append mode. What it does, it will open the file in the append mode so that you can add some content to the file. Your earlier file will not be overwritten by the new one. So now definitely I will move to write some content in the file. Suppose to write some content on the file, I have to open the file in the write mode. Very true. So when I'm open the file in the write mode, say I want to write some content into the thing. I must show that when I am using read function, read function, I can mention that I want to read not the entire content, whatever it is written over there. I want to read the content of say 6 characters. I can mention the size, that how many bytes or how many characters I want to read. So when I'm telling I want to read only 6, so look at the output. It is telling that S is an str. Okay, sorry, this file is empty, so that's why it is not getting. So let me read the file under the content of my earlier file, that which is under D drive file prog. So if I run this code, yes, look, mckv space I, probably the content is written over there. Just let me show you the content. mckv space I, say 4 plus 1 plus I, it's 6. Okay, so as I mentioned, I want to read only first 6 character or first 6 bytes, so that's why I am getting the output mckvi. Okay, now I open the file in the write mode, where I have to open it under D drive. And when you write the entire path, you must have to write in this form D drive. Under D drive, if you have a folder ABC, so you have to write D slash, not only one single slash, you have to write double slash, because one single slash have different meaning in Python. So to represent this file directory, or rather the path of the file, which I known as a absolute path of the file, relative path and absolute path. When I talked about the absolute path of the file, so I have to write from the directory, and from the directory I have to mention the entire path. And when I'm mentioning the path, I must have to provide this slash. The slash means not one slash. You have to provide 2 slash, because one single slash have different meaning. Okay. So now I am trying to open this file in write mode, because I want to write some content. So what is the name of the function? That is, the name of the function is write. One function is there to write some content into file. That is fp dot write. Fp is my file pointer. And suppose x equal to 10. I want to write x over here. Okay. So when I'm trying to write x over here, I will get an error. I will get an error. Look, yes. Why I'm getting this error? It's a very important thing, that write function can take one parameter, and the parameter is string only. You cannot pass an integer, you cannot pass a floating number as a parameter. So whatever the thing you want to write, suppose I want to write 1 to 10, 1 to 10 in my file. So what I will write, I definitely use a loop for I in range 1, 10. Okay. 1 to 10. So 1, 11. Okay. Then I will write this line fp dot write I. Okay. But not only I, it should be str of I, because I have to first convert it to the string, and then I can write the content. Integer, we cannot write integer over there. So, and finally, when all the tasks have been performed, I have to call a function. The name of the function is close, which is used to close the open file. Okay. At the very beginning, I mentioned closing is also an operation. So we require a close function to what to do? To close the open file. Let me run the code. It is not giving error anymore. Okay. And if you check the output, where the file is under D drive, it is abc.txt. Okay, let me open the file. D drive, it is abc.txt. Look at the file content. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All are coming in the same line, because new line is not there. So to append a new line, okay, just write f fp.write stri, or you can write this also, x equal to str of I, okay, str of I plus slash n, new line I append over here, then write x, write x. Look at the output now. No, not this file. It is under D drive, directly in the D drive abc.txt. Look at the output. Okay, so this way you can add the new lines also. Okay, if I file this in the write mode, if I run this code again, say from 11 to 20, so 11 to 21, so my earlier content will get lost. My earlier content will get lost as I am opening my file in the write mode. If you recheck the file, you will see that your earlier content is not there. That means 1 to 10 is not there. 11 to 20 replace that content. But if you open the file in the append mode, instead of W, if you open the file in the append mode, and if you want to add the content, say 21 to 30, so whatever the content you earlier have, it remains intact, and you can add the new content over there. So let me open the file and show you the output. Not this file, sorry. It is under D drive directly, abc.txt. Look, so earlier you have till 20, now 21 to 30 gets happened as I open the file in the append mode. So when we use the write function, very careful, we cannot write anything else string. So whatever the thing I want to write, we have to convert the content into string, and then we can write. That is the very important thing. So what are the operations at the beginning we told? That is creating a new file, discussed. Opening a file already exists, discussed. Writing some content into the file, it is discussed. Reading from a file, yes, discussed. And closing a file, it has already been discussed. Now, the last part, that is, we can access we can access the content of a file in the random fashion. Random fashion means not from beginning. How we can access it? Just I'm showing you some code. From there you can see that I can access the file. So we have a function for that purpose. The name of the function is seek function. What the name of the function? It is seek function. So here in this code, I already used it. I'm just showing a sample code. It is abc.txtr. Okay. So I opened the file abc.txt, and I'm telling that I call the seek functions. Okay. I call the seek functions. And the seek function is telling that what seek functions actually. Let me describe first. So seek function has two parameters. Seek function has two parameters. The first parameter is known as offset, and the second parameter is we represent fence. Very important thing. What does offset means? It's a very important thing. Offset means number of positions to move forward. Number of positions to move forward. Okay. That means how many positions I will move forward. That is represented by offset. And whence means it defines the point of point of reference. Okay, it defines the point of reference. The whence value can be three, one of these three. 0, this whence value, okay, whence value can be one of these three, 0, 1, and 2. If you not any value for the whence, if you not provide any value for the whence, so it will return you from beginning of the file. When you provide the value as one of this whence parameter, then you are telling basically that your pointer is pointing to the current file position. Current file position means where you are currently now. Okay, where you are currently now, that refers by 1. And 2 means that your reference point at the end of the file. I'm repeating once again. If you mention the value as 0, that means your reference point at the beginning of the file. If you mention the value at 1, your reference point at the current file position. If you provide the value as a parameter 2, that means you are at the end of the file. Okay. So at the same time, I must mention that if you are not providing any value for the second parameter, by default value is 0. And 1 and 2 reference point, or the reference point at the position, at the current position or end, that means 2, 1 and 2, it cannot be set for the text mode. It is applicable when I read the string as a form of binary mode. Okay. So here I have not provided any parameter to the seek function. So what it means? It means that I want to read the content from, or rather considering my whence from very beginning. Okay. So if I read the content of the file, and what another functions I have, that is fp dot tell, the name of the function is tell. What this tell function says, the tell function says that my current positions. ftell function says my current positions. So I print my fp.tell, and finally I close the file. So if I run this code, so look, what it is written over there, MCKV Institute of Engineering, this is the content, this is not this file. I opened my home directory file, not this file in the directly D drive, this one I opened. Okay. Let me close this file. Yes, MCKV. So I skipped the 3 point. I skipped the 3 point as my seek value is 3, 0 basically. So 0 means from beginning. So from beginning I skipped the 3, and then I start scanning, and I use the read lines function, where you all know what is the meaning of read lines function. Each line is the content of an element of that list. So first line, as I skipped the first 3, that means it is V Institute of Engineering. So that is coming in the output. V Institute of Engineering /n is also coming. Next line, 243 GT Road. It is coming as the second entry of the list. Again, appending as new line. Okay. And the third line is Lua, Howrah. That is also coming with appending a new line. So I hope you understood the seek with reference 0. Okay. Seek with 3, 0. Now, I'm showing you another code. Yes. I'm showing you another code where I am using 1 and 2, the second parameter value as 1 and 2. Okay. So it is what it is. I'm reading this file in the binary mode. If I not use in the binary mode, I cannot set this second parameter value as 1 and 2. So when I'm I'm opening my file as a binary mode, and I am using, suppose this one first, line number 7. What it is telling? From last. 2 means from last. Okay. 2 means from last. So from last to -10, we all know that when I'm traversing the string from the reverse direction, the last index is -1. So that means this is actually telling in the reverse directions, I have to traverse the 10 characters. And if tell will return you, f dot tail will return you the current position, prints the current position. Okay. So now I use the method read line. So it will give you last 10 characters, and as it is written, as it is read in the binary form, so I must have to decode it by calling the decode functions. Parameter is UTF-8 to make it the readable format. Okay, and you will get the last 10 characters. Look at the output. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? So last 10 characters, once again, I'm telling you have moved the last 10 positions from the back, because 2 says the last point or the end point. 0 means from beginning, 2 means from end, and 1 means from the current position. 1 I haven't used so far. So I have already used 0, and this is the use of 2. From the last, I move in the backward direction 10 characters. So this is giving us 53, Howrah. Okay. I hope you understood. Now I am using the parameter, which is 1. 1 means current position. So when I'm using current position, to show you how current position means, I am before using f dot 6 10, 1, I am telling that f dot read 10. That means first I read the 10 bytes. Okay, I open the file in the binary mode, then read the 10 characters or 10 bytes. That means I I move my pointer, rather read pointer or file pointer to the 10 characters in the forward directions. Then what I will do, from there, I again, using the seek function, I again change my position to the 10th point. That means actually I am skipping the first 20 characters. Then I am asking what is my current position. It will return you 20. It will return you 20. Earlier case, it will return, it gives us 53. The current position is 53. And last 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there is a slash n. Slash n is also considered 2 characters. So that's why it is coming Howrah, comma, space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and slash n is 2 characters. So total 10. Here, I skip 20. Then I start scanning. So go to the file. 20 matlab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So you skip 20. From there, how many characters you want to read? Oh, you used the function. You use the function read line. So one single line entirely gets scanned. So remaining part, engineering. So engineering, except E, the entire part gets scanned. E and N. Except E and N, the entire part gets scanned and you are getting the output. I hope you understood. So this is the use of the seek function. Okay. So all the file operations we discussed in the brief manner, that how we can open a file, how we can create a file, how we can read from a file, how we can write, everything I discussed. Now I will discuss few functions which Python supports. The functions are defined in the OS module. Okay. So before using those functions, you have to import the module OS. Okay. Just like it. Import OS. So what these functions, what are those functions? The first functions I must discuss, that is OS dot get CWD. OS dot get CWD. What this OS, I'm just commenting this part for the time being. OS dot get CWD is my function. Actually, get CW is the CWD is the function name, which is defined under the module OS, which returns the path of the current directory. That means where you are now. So if you run this code, you are getting the first output D drive file program, file underscore prog, because I am currently in this folder. So get CWD is basically giving us that file name. Okay. Next, the file name, the function name listdir. Listdir is returns all the files and subdirectories of the given path as a form of a list. It returns all the subdirectories and files of the provided path. I provided path the D. So whatever the files and the subdirectories are in the D drive, it will be returned and as a form of a list. So it has been displayed over here. Okay. So this is the two functions. Another function is CHDIR. CHDIR, what it takes? It takes CHDIR. It takes the parameter new directory. That means changes the current working directory to the new. CHDIR is changing, it is taking the parameter new directory. That means if I want to change my current path, I will call this function. Definitely the functions are defined under the OS module. Suppose I want to move from here to E drive. Okay. So I must write inside as a parameter OS E colon slash change directory. And after that, I again call this line so that I can get the current directory. Look at the current directory, it is showing E. Earlier I am where I am. I was in the D drive file program. Now I am in the E drive. Okay. So CHDIR is the function. Next, waves.path. It is actually the path is also the another module under waves, sub module better to say. Waves dot path is not the uh, path is the module waves dot path. So it is it has the function that is dir. What it tells is dir. Another function is waves dot path dot is file. It will return whether the provided parameter is a directory or is a file. And it returns what? Boolean value. If it is a directory, it will return true. If it is not a directory, isdir function will return you false. Similarly for the file function. Then another function is the mkdir. Wes dot mkdir mkdir. Definitely it will return, it will take a parameter directory name and use to create a directory. It will take the parameter directory name, it will create a directory. What these functions take, this function will take a file name, which will check whether it's a file or it's not a file. It will take the directory name as a parameter. We'll check the whether it's a directory or it's a not a directory. Then listdir I already used. Rename. If I want to change my file name, so waves.rename, old file name, the name of the function is rename, waves.rename, old file name, comma, new file name, old name, comma, new name. What this will do? This will change the name of the file from old to new. This is the function of rename. And the last function, that is waves.path.getSize. Waves.path.getSize. Get size. Okay. So waves.path.getSize. If you pass the path of the file, whatever path you will pass over here, you will get the size of that path. Okay. If you provide the path of a file, definitely it will return us file size of that provided path. So if you ask to if you ask to find the path of the file size, ask to find the size of the file, you can do this. Find the size of the file. You can do this by different approaches. So my file, where my file is under D drive file prog abc.txt. So I have to provide the path D drive, or rather I can write abc.txt as my file is my current directory. So what I am doing over here, if I read the file fp.read, okay, so it will read the entire, file, and it will return a string, right? It will return a string, and if I find the length of the string, calculate the length of the string by len function, I can get the size. So where my file is, it is d file prog, yes, file 3 abc.txt is there. Oh, sorry. So again, I have to give a wrong path. So that's why it is giving error bc.txt. Yes. So file size is 60 byte here also. Okay. File size is 60 byte. But when I am using the different approaches, I am getting the different size. Why I'm getting the different size? The different size, first of all, I am getting the 60 bytes. Okay. Because entire thing will be inside single L, and L is nothing but a string. The new line gets lost over here. So that's why if I write fp dot read lines, okay, fp dot read lines, okay, it will give us three byte. Okay, it will give us 3 byte, and this lane of fp dot read lines, because thing is that the new line is missing. When I'm using the read only, fp dot read, the new line is missing. It is not there. So that's why we are getting 3 lines are actually in my file. So as new line is missing, so that means len of L is giving us fp dot read. Okay, fp dot read len of L is giving us the 60 bytes. Okay, there is an file size just discussed. We have a function get size, waves.path.get size. If I am using this function, there I am getting 63 bytes. Okay. And another options I have, that is waves.stat. Waves.stat, what it gives? It gives the different details of the provided path, among which one attribute is st underscore size. Okay, look at the attribute st underscore size, which is actually giving us the size of the corresponding file. That's why what I print, this is my print waves.stat. Okay. File size is file size of this. So if I print waves.stat, this is the output of waves.stat. This is the output of waves.stat. And this is the output of this line. This is the output of this line, which also gives 63. Which also gives 63. The 63, how 63 is coming? That is very important. When 60 is coming, because 3 new lines are there, right now? 3 new lines are there. Here, 1 line, 1 second line, and 3rd line. Here also a new line is there. So that's why you are line number 4. So that's why in second 2 cases, that's 3/n value are considering. But in the first case, when I am using read, it reads the entire file content and returns a string. So that's why new line is not considered over there. So that's why you are getting 60 bytes from the first code. Okay, first approach. So I can get the file size into 3 approaches by writing this. Okay, so this will not give you the correct result. Best option is that waste.path.getSize, and you can use waste.stat also. Okay, waste.stat is giving the details of the file. This is the output of waste.stat. I already highlighted. From there, st underscore size is that size attribute is basically returning as the size of the file. So if I print the st underscore size, I will get the actual size of the file. So I hope you understood this much, and this is helpful to solve your assignment problem based on the file programming. So thank you.